Hello and welcome back to our channel Leader in Making. And more than anybody else, I am so excited to welcome my dear Bhargavi. And she has contributed tremendously on our channel for all insights about SP Jain. The beauty is that she has spoken about a lot of myth for PGDBM courses, MBA courses in India. And the episodes have given a lot of insights to people on all platforms. The content was shared much in detail, which left no queries and no doubts from people. So today in part 3 podcast with her, we have requested Bhargavi to share all the placement insight scenario while she was a student in SP Jain. And this podcast will count about campus placements related to SP Jain. But yes, I would request Bhargavi to include all those points also, which student from any campus, good campus, can look forward to while they are sitting for campus placements. And since you are on the line of profession for finance, so I would really request you to pour in some insight that people sitting for finance placements, what aspects they should keep in mind to have a successful campus placement. So welcome from my heart and over to you completely.
Thank you so much, Sunita. Thank you for inviting me again on your channel. So, talking about the placements, as you say, I told you in the last episode also that SP Jain always work differently from other B schools. So, similarly, even here during our placements, we have internships. So, internships for every other IIM, internships are the summer internships. But for SP Jain, we do autumn internships. Therefore, our internship starts from August, go for September, and then October. So August, September, October are the periods where we have our internship session. And for every college, generally it is summer, so they start in June, July, something. But for us, when we come to the second year, so for the when we come to the second year, then we start our internships. The interviews start in July and August, and the internships also start at the end of August and September and October. This is how it goes. So in other colleges, you in your first year itself, you generally do your internship, but in SPGen, in the second year, you do your internship. Now here, what happens is I'll tell for every B school candidate, not just for SPGen. People generally think that if you have a certain certification, professional certification, then the companies will prefer you. For example, me being from finance, people generally think if I am a CA or if I am a CFA, it will help me. And if I am not a CA in a finance cohort, if my classmates are CAs, if my classmates are CFAs, and I am just a fresher, I will be at a disadvantage. And therefore, I would like to tell people that this is not the truth. If a company would have wanted a CA, they would have gone to ICAI and would have hired CA. If they are coming to a B school to hire people, they are looking for your abilities as a management trainee, right? So even if you are not a CA, but you have the abilities to solve the financial problems very well, there is no problem. Because when you get hired, be it in an internship, be it in the final placements, the company want you to solve problems for their company. Okay. Now, in that process, the company will train you that how does the company work? What are the operations? What happens in the market? From where does the actually money is coming from? For those things, you have to unlearn certain things. So if you have some previous experience, for example, if someone is being hired at Nestle, and let's say I assume that there is a person who has a previous experience in FMCG. So I might think that, okay, that person would be preferred over me then because that person has previous FMCG experience. That is not the truth. I was a fresher. As I told, I was a fresher. I had a gap year as well. Yet I was being hired amongst all. And the another person, we were two people who were hired from SPJIMR in the finance cohort of Nestle. We both are freshers, and the people who were being shortlisted, there were many CAs, there were many people who had experience, none of them was finalized. Why so? Because they want people who fit their needs. And you, as a student, don't know what their needs could be. Company A can come with different needs, company B can come with different needs, right? So please don't have this a misconception in your mind that only if I will have a certain experience in past, only if I have a certain degree, I am a CA or CFA or something, I would be preferred, or if I don't have that, I would not be preferred. People think that if I am an engineer, I would not be preferred for finance roles. This is not the case. You should have that required knowledge.
You know what
This
I
is
am
something that
learning
people
when you
think.
always say, I think you have lot of your own clear, confident thoughts also. So while people are listening to what Bhargavi is saying, I absolutely agree with you. And it's a learning for all the people who are coming for PGDBM finance program, that if they need only hardcore finance CA knowledge, they will definitely go to those institutions. But if they are coming to any prestigious PGDBM college offering management program, they are looking for people who can manage this knowledge and can still contribute in the organization. That's a lovely, self introspection and reflection for a lot of people who are coming to finance profession. And I think you have done detailed work when you're talking about CAs were not being hired. When you talk about campus placements, it's about knowledge. And what I feel, Bhargavi, in you, that the way you deliver what you possess, the knowledge, that is also very important at this stage. How you are delivering what you know with confidence, with backup of your work you have done or you have collected through your experience. That also matters a lot when people do compare a particular profile for CA and management students. So I think that's your USP as well in a profile. Yeah.
Yeah, that is very rightly said, Sunita. So since you mentioned that the way you deliver what you possess is very important, here I would like to guide the listeners in some way. So whenever you submit your CV to the company, and then the companies shortlist you. This is how a process goes in any B school. So you will be applying to a company. Let's assume the cohort is there are 300 people in a batch, and let's say 100 people apply to certain company, and out of those 100 people, the company will send a shortlist of, let's say, 20 people. This is being done on the basis of your CV. So CV is your first phase, which the company is looking at. What is important is how you write things in your CV. So there could be many things that you have done in your life. You need to first decide which ones are important for me. Which ones do I want my recruiter to know about me? You should you should have that ability to think that what should be prioritized. If I have 20 things to mention, and if there is space of only 5 things, which 5 things are the most important things that I should put forward in my CV? So that CV is the first phase, first person that the company is looking at. That is the most important part. Now, that is in your hand, but I would say only 20% in your hand, because still you don't know what the recruiter is thinking about you. Maybe you were not able to present that important point in a certain way. So you might get a shortlist, you might not get a shortlist. But once you get the shortlist and once you are in for the interview, that is when it is always up to you how you perform. Because you see, your words are speaking already, your actions, your face, your expressions also speak a lot. The way you are toning your words, if you are being sounded rude, if you are sounding too polite, if maybe sometimes your the way you are speaking, your tone can sound fake as well. If in general you are very rude to people, you don't talk politely, but if in the interview you are trying to be so much polite, the interviewer is genuinely smart enough to understand that you are faking. People think that I can fake anything in the interview and the interviewer will not know. We need to understand that the person who comes there to interview you has worked in his life for at least 25 to 30 years, and he has seen everything. He has seen different candidates of your types, right? So he can figure it out, like with the snap of finger, if you are faking it or not. So don't think that the person sitting in front of you is a fool. He knows everything. He knows, because he has also gone through this, right? The person who is coming to interview you was also once an MBA from a tier 1 college. He was also sitting in front of an interviewer in his time, right? So he even tried faking things. So he knows how we fake things. Therefore, the most important part that comes in an interview, even after giving CAT, when you sit for an interview, this is the most important thing that I tell to my peers, that when you tell about yourself, the first question anywhere comes out to be, tell me about yourself. That is the most important question. That is where you can drive the whole interview around yourself. So you need to find how do you want to present yourself? How do you want to differentiate yourself from other people? For example, in my case, generally people used to say, hello, my name is Bhargavi. I have done my graduation from this place. Then I went and did this. Instead of that, I started my line telling about my certain qualities. I used to say, I'm a very action oriented person, this. I mentioned my three qualities, and then I continued my answer. This is how it works. So when an interviewer is sitting there, he or she has interviewed 7 to 8 people. They all have been monotonous in their answer, and then if you bring something different, it it hits their mind, and then they remember you. They tend to remember, okay, this person told something different. Let's ask question about this thing. So tell me about yourself is the most important part of your answer. It is, I mean, this is one thing जिसपे आपका पूरा control है. इंटरव्यूअर ने आपसे आपको पता है आप फाइनेंस का क्वेश्चन कोई पूछेगा इंटरव्यूअर, सो यू हैव टू आंसर इट इन अ सर्टेन वे. मुझसे एक फाइनेंस का क्वेश्चन पूछा गया, सेम क्वेश्चन अगर मेरे पीयर से पूछा गया, आंसर विल बी सेम, क्योंकि वो फाइनेंस है. वी वुड द आंसर वुड बी सेम, राइट? जस्ट लाइक अ मैथ्स क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करके सबका आंसर सेम आएगा इफ इट
Absolutely.
इज अ
That's a
मैथ्स क्वेश्चन.
conceptual question. You cannot modify the
या
concept. Yeah.
correct, but tell me about yourself is something which is unique for all, so play with it. Make sure that you do something which makes you stand out, right? So for that, even for both the interviews, even for internship and even for finals, you need to understand how much the research is important. If a company is coming to interview me, and if I'm going for that interview, I need to research for the company. This is a very underrated aspect of interview. People think, why do I need to research the company? वो company के बारे में थोड़ी ना कुछ पूछने वाले हैं. They are not going to ask about the company maybe, but you should be presenting yourself the way company want you to be. So for example, if I am going in an interview for an investment bank, they would want me to be a strong person who should be able to handle problems in a very effective manner. So maybe in my answers, while answering about myself, while answering about my strength, I should be able to mention that how strong I am, how do I solve my problems, how strong minded I am, right? If I am going for an interview for a company which value the principles a lot, for example, Nestle gives a lot of weightage to its values, so I molded my answer in that way. Nestle puts a lot of weightage to, family values, to respect. So I mentioned my family. This is how I molded my answer. I said I live in a joint family. My grandfather has taught me this. My grandmother taught me respect. My father taught me this. This. I don't know. Maybe this would have helped me. I don't know. But this is how you mold your answers differently, so that within your first answer, the company finds the reason to hire you. This is something which I would want all of my listeners to understand, that, for example, if I'm sitting for interview for SP Jain, I would like to mention my values, because SP Jain asks for values in people, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So I would like to add on to what Bhargavi is saying. It's very important to go through the complete website. Company do inquire about their foundation, their values. They inquire what is their main core business line. They also sometimes ask, are you aware from students in the interview that do you know where all our centers are located? And also many times they would also like to inquire that if you are sitting for that interview, are we in the news from past 3 to 6 months, and who are our major competitors? At least you should know 3 to 5 competitors. This is the basic preparation you should go with while you're going for the interview. Bhargavi, let us also understand that while you're appearing for campus placements in SP Jain, especially for the field of finance, companies are very particular about marks, the percentage. So what would you like to say? Because in my placement tenure of 21 years, I have seen that more than marketing or HR, profiles, companies are very particular about your marks, starting from 10th, 12th, graduation, how much CGPA you are scoring in your PGDBM program. What is your take on marks, especially for finance students? And do you
Okay.
think that they should mention it in the CV also? Yeah.
Okay, sure. So Sunita, what happens in a B school actually? There is a fixed format of the CV, and there is no place for grade to be mentioned. I don't know about other B schools because CV is a very confidential aspect. People don't share their CVs, but in SPJIMR we don't share our CGPAs and marks with the company. This is the policy. Um, we might change policy going forward, but till now, if the companies ask for it, companies know. We have legacy recruiters who have been recruiting from past many, many years. So they know that SPGen does not share the marks of their students. Marks might matter, yes, but they also know that if they are hiring from a Tier 1 college, obviously their previous profiles have been good, right? So if you are hiring from Tier 1 college, they know that their marks would have been above 90% at least in 10th also and 12th also, right? So the problem comes to be the CGPA in the B school, especially. That thing they generally, I mean, at least our placement committee don't reveal the CGPA. Maybe while in the interview, if the interviewer asks, it is our choice to reveal our CGPA or do not reveal our CGPA. It is under our policy, we are not allowed to reveal our CGPA. So it might be important, yes, because see, my personal belief is your CGPA does not show that how intelligent you are, but I obviously respect that, yes, to a certain extent, CGPA is also important for the company's reputation.
Mhm.
But I don't think any B school reveals CGPA. I think companies, and not all companies ask for it. Some companies might, for example, top consulting companies ask for it because they have in their own criteria, they have that we always hire 999. So
Mm.
the profiles are divided like this. 999 means you have 90% in your 10th, 90% in your 12th, 90% in your undergraduation, and then above 90% in your UG as well. So this is our profiles are like, but if under SPGen, we don't share our CGPAs.
Okay, okay. So if you are in a position to share some of the organizations, if people are coming to SPGen, especially for finance recruitments, what kind of companies, packages, average maybe, or maybe lowest, highest, as per your knowledge, if you would like to share some information which can be helpful for specifically for students looking forward to SPGen admissions, probably from next year.
Sure. So maybe I would not be able to name all of them. And I don't know which companies are coming to recruit current batches, but I would be able to give some information about my batch. All type of companies come. So consulting companies are there. They also hire people from all the specializations, be it finance, marketing, information management, or operations. Consulting companies, these are. Then for finance specifically, we have investment banks, we have private equity firms, we have VC firms, trading firms as well. And then we have FMCGs. They come with their own specifications. If we want finance people, if they want operations people, or if they want marketing people. So FMCGs come in that way. These are the top cohorts that come. Under FMCG, we had Nestle, we had Mondelez, we had P&G as well. Under consulting, we had BCG, Accenture. Information management के लिए we had Microsoft as well. We have Deloitte also there. Deloitte also hire for their consulting arm. Deloitte also hires. So for finance also there is actually whatever type of company that we generally have in any B school or in fact in the world itself, all types of all industries come. The difference that happens in that makes a difference to a B school candidate, a student studying there, is how I would say the time when they are coming. So, for example, in the start, a consulting company might come. Then maybe as per the requirement, an FMCG comes. Then an investment bank comes. It is like that. So we as a finance student, I might be able to take decision of do I want to go into consulting. If yes, I'll prefer going to consulting. I mean, the companies are coming in a certain cohorts. First, the consulting companies are coming, then the FMCG companies are coming, investment banks are coming. So this is how they come, and then on the basis of that, I alter the preparations. So companies, there is no dearth of the companies that come there, and number of companies come. Some companies, even when the batch is placed, then two companies keep demanding for people. So sometimes we need to tell companies that all of our students are placed, sorry. So there is no dearth of the companies. the only planning that is required is how do I prepare myself? What should I prepare first? Because the preparation for a corporate finance interview is different than the preparation for an investment bank interview or a trading interview, right? Consulting is completely different from everything. So this is where the difference generally comes during in the selection of companies. But companies, all types of, you name it, you name the top brand and it will be there in the tier 1B schools.
Okay. And anything about the packages, maybe the lowest, average, or the highest, if you have ever witnessed?
Lowest, I might not know. Average generally goes to 36 LPA, and highest was also around 36, 37 only.
Okay.
This every year we have companies from abroad as well who hire for abroad. We had Dubai and UAE and all. So there, I guess, because they pay in their own domestic currency, it goes to something 82 LPA as well. If converted into INR, they goes to 82 LPA. So if considered by the companies which are here hiring in India, the average is generally previous to previous year we had 32, it came to 34, this year it came to 36 something. This is how it keeps on increasing. Yeah.
Okay. And while you were sitting for your own campus placements, what technical preparation you did in respect to corporate finance role, investment banking role, or maybe FMCG role, specifically related to finance? Any specific preparation, technical?
Sure. Um, so I believe my classes were enough, first of all. We have good talking in terms of finance. We have good professors there. So the whatever we were being taught in the class were good. Um, Talking about something, if I would have learned another, software or something, no, I did not. I mean, for a finance interview, it is not required. It is an added advantage that you generally get. For example, I wanted to go into FMCG. So I did not need anything as such. But if you are trying to go into trading maybe or investment bank maybe, you might want to learn Tableau, Power BI, some coding language as well. So if you are an engineer there, that might be a plus point. And trading companies especially ask for C, Java and all this stuff, coding languages. Even if you are, see, if you are a commerce student and if you think that I can learn this, I don't think it's easy, because these people, the engineers, have learned it from their 11th and 12th standard. Then they study it for 4 years and all. Then they work on it sometimes in their work ex. So for them, it is better suited to go into trading. Another thing is what college helps us with. College already has different clubs. So we have investment clubs and all. Some colleges have finance clubs. They provide you with certain aids in terms of what should you prepare alongside your own preparation. For example, in the interviews, generally it is being asked to pitch a certain stock. For example, if it is an investment bank, they would want you should have analyzed the stock. You should pitch if you should buy the stock, sell the stock, why should it be a buy. So there are stock pitches. Finance students generally prepare stock pitches. So you take help from your professors or watch YouTube videos, ask from the CAs how a stock pitch is being prepared and learn from them. Stock pitch is important. Then how do you analyze a company? How do you value a company? Corporate valuation, company valuation. Then alongside this, maybe you need Excel. Yes, for finance people, Excel is the most important part in whichever industry you are going from. If you are from finance, Excel is a must needed skill. Advanced MS Excel. For example, here at Nestle, I am daily working with Excel formulas and VBA and whatnot. So advanced Excel is expected, very much expected if you are from finance. You should know financial modeling also. These are certain technical skills. But yes, if you want to go, even so, I'm at FMCG. It's not, I don't think there was a requirement. Not every FMCG would want it, but in the work that I am doing, I assume that if you know Power BI, Advanced Excel, Tableau, and other such business intelligence tools, they are very much helpful. They come very handy. At least in the initial part, they come very handy to you, because you are going to help the management in telling how your business, how your financial plans, how your investments are performing. So when you come to that analysis part, these BI tools help you very much. These are almost your lifeline when you work. So up I mean, no courses as such, if I say go for this particular course or something. But yes, make sure that over the period of time you gain knowledge of Power BI and Advanced Excel. These two things, if to be bare minimum, these two things are very much required.
Sure. I was so curious to know, since beginning you are very sorted, in the sense that even you were sorted for your placements, that I want to go for FMCG. I wanted you to tell your youngsters, peers, juniors who are coming up for their career, corporate career, 3 tips that how they can be sorted in their mind for their UG, PG, and even the sector they want to go. 3 tips first from your side. How you are sorted.
Okay. Okay. So, you see, while you are studying, you tend to understand where do I want to go. Even when I came to my MBA, I didn't know in which industry I want to go to. Okay. But when you study different subjects at any college, you will have subjects for each and every industry. You will have a subject for trading. I mean, not exactly, I'm saying there is no subject called trading, but there will be subjects that will tell you what trading looks like. This is the thing that you need to do in trading, what investment banking looks like, what an FMCG looks like. Okay. So for example, if we talk about the subjects, corporate finance is the subject that is for FMCG. Okay, whatever you do in corporate study in corporate finance is what happens in FMCG. If you study corporate valuation, that is what happens in an investment bank or a private equity or a VC firm. If you see anything related to stocks or trading or fixed income or derivatives, futures and options, these are all related to trading. Okay, so these are the subjects that you study. When you study these subjects, when you do your own research, when you talk to the people, you realize, all right, I am interested in this subject, so I might be interested in this particular role because I am good at this. Okay, so number one, sometimes it happens by luck that okay, you sat for an interview, you got the company and it's done. Now you cannot do anything. Okay. For example, if I would have seated for an investment bank, if I would have gotten the offer, I would have been into an investment bank. Maybe I would have wanted to go into an FMCG, but I sat for an investment bank interview, I got an IB. So sometimes it's about luck, it's about your fate. Sometimes if you plan for it, it's great. Planning is great actually, especially and your time to test yourself if you are good for an investment bank, if you are good for an FMCG is your internship. Truly telling you. So you try if you want, if you think that I can handle a lot of pressure, I have no problem in working for late hours because in IB, private equity, VC, and trading, you get to sleep 4 to 5 hours a day. It's I mean it's given. So if you think that you can handle that pressure, if you are okay with your senior shouting at you, if you are okay thinking out of the box, going out of your comfort zone, not giving time to the family at all, still working and earning money, it's up to you. Go for IB, there is no problem. But you think that your mental peace is important, you want to give time to yourself, self-care, your family, choose a profession accordingly. Right? I know that I have, for example, in my case, I know my family is at most. I value my mental health a lot. I know I will be able to perform better at job if I give time to self-care. So for that matter, I knew I don't want to go to an investment bank because I know I won't be getting any time for my family. And giving time to my family, spending time with my family is something which helps rejuvenating me. So if I want to go back to work on Monday, I need my family with me. I need to talk to my family. I need to enjoy. I need to go out. I knew I cannot do it with an IB. So I wanted an FMCG. It's so if you might have a skill for IB, but you have other priorities because of which you would not want an IB. So for anyone who are struck, first of all, people think, oh my God, these people, my classmates know where they want to go. CAs generally they want to go to IBs. So so people think, oh my God, my classmates already know where they want to go. They have everything planned out. I don't know anything. I am a failure. I'm a loser. No, this is not the scene. Even they don't know where they want to go. It is just they are showing off, or would have figured it out. If they have figured it out earlier, it's fine. You figure it out now. You see which subjects interest you. If you are not able to decide, if you think that you can handle anything, then see what other things do you prioritize. What will be the culture at an corporate finance role? What will be the culture at an FMCG? What will be the culture at an IB? And will I be able to handle that pressure? This happens. So this is how you know, it's not a one day thing that you sit today and you decide. No, it happens over a period of time. When you see, when you, so before that, before sitting for your placements, companies come to give a pre-placement talk. They tell about themselves, and any investment bank, any private equity firm, anyone, they tell that we expect people to work 16 hours a day. We expect people to work 10 hours a day. We expect people to work 18 hours a day. They tell very blatantly. And they also tell, see, this is the culture. You will have high pressure all the time. You will not get time to sleep. If you are at home, we can call you anytime. Decide on the basis of that. If one investment bank is saying this, it is common for all investment banks. Take it for granted. So you should be smart enough to understand.
Sure. I think that's a very, very sensible decision, thought, and the way of proceeding forward on your career, that how much importance you give to your own me time, your own holistic balance, your own holistic development, mental, emotional, physical well-being, spiritual well-being, social well-being. I think that's a very beautiful self-introspection. Bhargavi, at your age, if you are realizing this, I'm sure you are going to have work-life balance and great peace in your life. I would be so keen to know that, since now you're working in FMCG, and I really wish to know that how much FMCG expect to work in a day then.
Very, very, very less. So for me, let me count.
Maybe
I
eight
guess
to nine
eight
hours.
to
Yeah,
yeah, 8 to 9. That's exactly, I was saying that 8 to 9 hours a day. It's like you go at 10, you will be back at 7 or 8 something. That's 8 to 9 hours is enough.
sure.
So that's almost a government job, government job life, that you go, you work, you eat food there, you come back and have a good sleep, have good weekends. You have Saturday, Sundays off, have good weekends. It's a life like that. Investment bank or any other company does not give you
It's
that.
too
They give
hectic.
you good money. They give you money maybe at the later stage. They give you a lots and lots of money. People retire at the age of 40, 45 from investment banks.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, you don't get the life. People say that go there, get lots and lots of money, enjoy your life after 45. There is no life left after 45. I mean, if I want to go do some adventurous activity, I would not go at the age of 45 or 50 to do an adventurous activity, right? I would want
Mm-hmm.
to go at this stage when I am in my late 20s. I would like to go have fun in Ladakh, go to Manali and enjoy there, do some adventurous activities, have fun with my friends. Even if whatever I'm earning good, but I want time for myself. I want a life here. So this
Sure.
is, I
Sure.
guess, you make your choices based on your preferences.
True. And I think young generation, if thinking about that kind of peaceful life along with a great career, I think that's very important. And I was telling it to Trisha, recommended by you, the one who has done everything from XLRI. I was telling it to her that I have seen never of my placed candidate in Nestle have ever left the company. And now we are getting the insight that
Yeah.
there is so much of peace and culture within the organization.
Yes.
What would be your, because in the next podcast, we are going to talk about what a finance candidate is supposed to do in terms of role,
Okay.
responsibility, KRAs, KPIs in an FMCG company, because you are into that. So I would like you to let us know the last three tips for students who are expecting anything from campus. And before that, I would like to add on to what you have already shared during your preparation. Even if this is for listener, that even if you are not clear that okay, the company is going to give you what, try doing some internships, maybe 2 months internship. There are offline internships. You can do it from LinkedIn, you can do it from internshala, then there is naukri.com. You can even try doing some internship, so that you are getting complete hands-on what the company is going to expect. And finally, you can take a call during your final placement, because I have seen many students changing their line of work even after 1 or 2 years of work, because their expectations were really different from the reality. So that could be another checkpoint for people who are not able to decide even at that stage. After the company is giving you insights, your seniors are telling you, try do some work then for 2 to 3 months as an intern in some organization, and there are a lot of opportunities available on these platforms and many other platforms also, that can also give you a brilliant insight that where you are landing finally after your campus placement in your career. So the final tips we are expecting from you, whoever is appearing for campus placements.
Sure. So I'll give 3 tips. Number 1, always try to ask yourself the why behind whatever you are studying. Ask questions from yourself. What if this happens? What should be my answer? What if it is this is being asked? Theoretical part also, behavioral part also, and your finance related questions also. This is the first. Self preparation for why. Not everything you will not find in the book. Second is, for every specialization, even especially for finance, I would say the universe is, infinite. What to study? So how to define when I end my preparation? You should need to know by why, when should I end my preparation? So prepare a list of topics that you want to prepare. If there are 1,000 topics and you cannot prepare 1,000 topics, out of those 1,000 topics, find out 100 topics that should be done. At least ये तो होना ही चाहिए. Do those topics and you are done for the preparation. At least you will be satisfied that I have made I have done whatever I wanted to prepare.
Sure.
Third is, you might want company X or industry X, but you might get something else. So always remember, you sometimes, I'm not saying every time this happens, but sometimes you think that you should be getting this, but you get what you deserve. For example, I might have thought that I want to go into IT, but I know I would have been better in my life if I am into an FMCG. So
Sure.
you will get what you deserve. Don't be disheartened if you are not getting placed in early days. You people generally get so much disheartened. Oh my God, these people got placed, I'm not yet placed. You will get what you deserve, and don't worry. You are studying from a tier 1B school. You will do great in the life. Whatever company you are getting into will be the top-notch company. So these
Sure.
are the 3 tips.
Sure. So we
And
are about
I
to
hope
end